I didn't listen to Sabbath that much, but I liked Paranoid. I thought it was great. But I didn't get off on the doomy kind of thing.
Anyway, Deep Purple are releasing Made in Japan, a new deluxe set, which is available on the 15th of August, and there are purchasing links just below this video. Now, the first question I have for you, Roger, is when this album came out, were you concerned about the availability of bootlegs, and was this put out to squash that particular market?
It wasn't put out to squash that market, but that market was very much around at that time.
Mhm.
Making live albums, not really a good idea. We were a live band, and every gig was kind of different and crazy, and uh, no one ever knew what to expect. We never thought about actually recording a live album, even though going in a studio, which is dead,
Mhm.
really was very different to the gigs we were doing, which were loud and crashing and, well, loud.
Yeah.
And there's a different feeling when you play like in front of an audience. Um, and we actually tried to do that for Made in Japan. No, Made in Japan. We're talking about for Machine Head.
Okay.
We wanted to record in a live setting
Hmm.
to try and capture that. Of course, the fire in Montreux put
Yeah.
paid to that idea.
Yeah.
So we ended up recording in a corridor. But there was that feeling we wanted to do that. As I remember when we were doing Fireball, Ian Pace would change the skin on his drum when he was walking back towards the studio, and the sound in the corridor went from a crash, and as he walked into the studio, went to a duh,
Mhm.
crash, duh. He set his drums up in the corridor. So that's, that we wanted to take that one stage further.
Sure.
So yes, recording live was something that the record company wanted. We never thought about it.
Hmm.
The Japanese EMI said we want to record a live album. We said no, we're not doing that. Said no, we really want to do it. And we said, okay, well, we can only do it if our Martin Birch, our engineer, is there, and that if we don't like it, it doesn't come out, and it only comes out in Japan.
Right.
Which is a silly thing to say, but back then it wasn't a global world.
Yeah. Because it was originally called, the album was originally called Live in Japan, wasn't it? And the title was changed for the when it was
No,
released.
no, the original title was Made in Japan.
Okay.
Live in Japan was the Japanese version.
Okay. Gotcha.
Anyway, so not being our idea, and bootlegs, we were suffering from bootlegs. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember in 70 and 71, roadies or Pearl security people would go out and saw someone with a camera, they'd grab it and rip out the film, and it was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took me a long while to get over that feeling that bootlegs are evil. But I met some fans once who said, bootlegs are not, they're just tape sharing. They're not taking any money from you because they've already got the albums.
Yeah.
So it's, why are you so worried?
Yeah.
And I think the worry is you don't want people to listen to you doing a bad show.
Yeah.
There are bad shows, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Most of them weren't bad, but Anyway, so the bootlegs and all that was very much in the air. That's why we wanted to try and control it.
Yeah.
But when we got back from Japan and Ian Pace and I went in the studio to listen to it, we were just blown away. Like, fantastic quality.
Hmm.
First of all, that's what we listened to it, the quality. The
Hmm.
recording sound was good. And then as we listened to it, the performances were just spellbinding.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And shit, this is great. So we picked out the best ones that we thought to make an album, which is the
Uh,
original Made in Japan. Of course, it was taken from three dates.
yeah.
So there's obviously interest in what were the other dates like, that kind of thing. So and they asked me if I wanted to mix the three dates um, a year or so after Made in Japan. I said, actually, I'm not really interested. I've done the album I think it should be. If anyone wants to mix it, that's fine. But I've done my bit.
Yeah.
And it's been now remixed several times by various people.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have to say that these mixes, Steve Wilson, who I don't know, I've never met, they're very good, excellent.
Oh, interesting. I mean, you said you recorded 3 nights. You used most of the material from the second night, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of fans believe that the third night, which I think was in Tokyo, was the best performance. What was wrong with the third night? Why didn't that get more released initially?
I don't know. I'd have to listen to them. I haven't heard those for a long, long time. But at the time, the first night in Osaka, we were very aware of the fact that we were being recorded.
Hmm.
And so everyone's playing very carefully. Don't want to make a mistake. It's a live album, all this business.
Yeah.
We didn't even think about it. It just that's we naturally everyone does that.
Yeah.
By the second night, we'd loosened up and completely ignored the recording process and had a good time.
Yeah.
And then we did Tokyo, and Tokyo went the opposite way. It was too wild.
Right.
It didn't quite. I can't remember what we went through at the time, but that's one of the reasons why we focused on the second night.
No. But with they say that this album is special because it's a genuine live album. There's no overdubs at all. But I read somewhere that I think John Lord claimed that there was a line from A Strange Kind of Woman that had to be redubbed from a different show after Gillan had tripped over his microphone cable. I don't. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. He didn't mix it. I did.
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
Um,
I think I read somewhere as well that when they were remixing these albums and things like that, they didn't find that to be true anyway. But I'm just wondering where that rumor came from.
it might have come from. We did an album many years later, decades later, called "Nobody's Perfect."
Hmm. Right.
It was that was a horrible thing anyway, and lots of things were switched over. A vocal from one take was gone, ironed onto another instrumental track, that
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was a salvage job.
Right. I mean,
Not a good.
this was your first visit to Japan. Did you not find recording a live album that might be a bit risky rather than doing it in front of an audience, say in the States, maybe, or something like that?
It's far enough away that if you didn't know about it, you wouldn't care.
And of course, you said you had control over whether it was released or
Yeah.
not.
And I mean, as I say, it was not a global economy then.
Yeah,
That was the other side of the world, and they were separate. Now it's all part of the same internet. So
yeah. I mean, Ian Gillan has famously said that he doesn't like live albums. He thinks live concerts should be in the moment, really. And do you think he's warmed to this one?
I don't know that he's ever heard it.
Really? He's never
He
sat
must
down and
have done.
listened to
He
it,
must
not
have
even the
done
new
it.
mixes.
He must have done it at some point.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's thinking about himself rather than the band.
Right.
His
Right.
his performances, he doesn't want to hear him singing rough.
Yeah. And
But
one of the
it's
most
silly because he has a hard time singing rough. He always sounds pretty good.
he sounds fantastic on that record. He really does.
Yeah,
Apparently, there's on the Tokyo concert, the whole audience are joining in with "Child in Time," which I don't think I've ever heard the Tokyo. So I know it's been released before, but I don't think I've ever listened to it. But I'd be interested in hearing this new mix. Be fascinating.
I do remember that. Uh, as we were leaving Japan, I don't know, at the airport or something like that,
Mhm.
waiting to get on the plane. I said to Ian Gillan, I said, "Did you hear that crowd last night doing Charlie in Time? They're singing every word in English."
Yeah,
Yeah, I said, I didn't realize the power of words in songs. And since he
absolutely.
and I wrote all the words,
Yeah.
we better be careful what we write. You know? And I think that it was a good lesson in a way because we're not outrageous in our lyrics. We don't take sides. We don't preach.
Yeah,
We don't. It's not politics or anything. We don't. We look at the world and just observe it, but we don't teach people how to think about it.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's always been our sort of unspoken motto.
How did you find the what was it like actually? I mean, the Budokhan's an iconic place. I mean, how did you feel about playing there?
About the same as playing in the Albert Hall. It's like a hallowed place.
Yeah. What was the sound like in the Budokan? Testing your memory.
More echoey, I think, but I can't remember it, to be honest. It was a wilder gig, so that the echo probably fed into that.
Yeah. Interestingly, Goldmine magazine said this album defined Deep Purple even as it redefined the concept of the live album. I would say, why is that, and why do you think this is so special, say, compared to something like The Who's Live at Leeds?
Well, that's another of its time. That's another great live album. Yes, I understand that.
Mm.
Um, I've no idea.
I mean, The Who's Live at Leeds is another album that's famously no overdubs or anything like that. I think it's as it is,
That's
really.
right, and that's a rarity. I mean, it's just I always keep coming back to that time to
Mhm.
put. It was different thinking was in the air.
But live albums weren't. Were live albums particularly popular at this time? I don't think they were they?
No,
They were just tended to be put out as
the stopgap between studio albums. You know,
yeah.
if you're a record company, stick out a live album. It's usually a budget job.
You've got a song obviously on the in rock amp called "Flight of the Rat." Now, as far as I know, Deep Purple have never performed this live. Is there a particular dislike for this song, or do you feel it just doesn't work somehow? Or
I have to blame Ian Pace for that. He didn't like it.
really?
For him, that tempo, it doesn't suit him. Yeah, he could play it, but it's never come up really. He's always said, "Nah, I don't want to do that." So
Mm.
I blame him publicly.
Do we? As you,
We all have our different opinions about songs, of course. It all depends really on what works in a set
yeah, yeah,
on stage. There's a state there's a shape to a performance, and songs have a sort of place in it. Uh, maybe we can break rules and actually start with a ballad.
yeah,
That would throw us off and throw other people off too.
yeah, yeah.
We're pretty much set in our ways about how the set should go.
Sure, sure. Does the mule ever feature in the set these days?
I think it did at some point. I can't remember when. Some years ago, I think we did it for once or twice, just as a part of a jam or something like that. And all that. Um, maybe it was just an ad lib. I don't know, but no, we haven't done it properly. It used to be a an Ian Pace solo item.
Of course, that's the famous bit on Made in Japan. That mule and that drum solo. It was just wonderful.
But thanks
Um,
for reminding me.
um,
I'll bring it up at the next meeting.
please do, please do. I'd love to hear it with the full drum solo as well. That would be absolutely fantastic. Ian Gillan often lauds the progressive elements of the Fireball album. Famously, Richie Blackmore wasn't so keen on that album. What are your feelings about Fireball? Do you feel that it went wrong in some way, or do you think it's Ian is right?
Hmm. Well, Ian's a singer, so he's always right. I think judging by the sales on I mean, In Rock was such a huge hit.
Hmm.
Stayed in the British charts for over a year, so massive, massive hit. And Fireball didn't do that.
Mm.
It might have got to number one, but then down very quickly. So
Yeah,
there's a feeling that it didn't. It was the famous second album thing.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and we you can't design stuff. You just have to capture what the band is at that time.
Hmm.
And what I've learned is there are good times and bad times.
Hmm.
I don't think it's a particularly bad album by any means. I got
And I
some,
think it's a wonderful album.
I think the feeling was that it wasn't as successful as In Rock. That's the only thing I think. No, I think it's actually a more laid back album.
It's more
Apart from,
funky as well, I think.
yeah, apart from Fireball, which is, absolute tour de force.
Oh, it's a wonderful song as well. Um, I mean, talking about progressive, Ian said it felt that the album was a bit more progressive. I mean, at the time, you certainly would have been surrounded by progressive rock bands like ELP, Gentle Giant, Yes. How did you find all that progressive rock? Did you feel that it was maybe a bit too pompous, perhaps, compared to what, sort of straight rock and roll?
I don't know what is straight rock and roll. I don't know quite what
Or...
that is, but
Well, compared to what, say, Deep Purple were playing.
yeah. I th the thing that I've always been interested in songs
Mhm.
rather than performances.
Mhm.
I think I'm a better songwriter than a bass player, for example. Um, I'm driven by songs, and if a song's too complicated, then it goes over your head. That's why it's a niche thing.
Yeah.
And we had no design to be in any particular genre.
Hmm.
It's just what we did is what we were. And it's hard to move from that. You can't play like someone else.
Yeah.
You can only play like you are. So
You wouldn't fancy some sort of grand concept albums or things like that, or within
no,
the context of Deep Purple.
no, I don't think so.
I was interested to read when Richie Blackmore became ill. I think it was around about 71, 72. He was replaced on stage, I think, for one performance by Randy California. And apparently, there's first of all, how did Richie feel about being replaced even for one night by Randy California? And do you know if there are any tapes available of Child in Time played on the slide guitar?
Oh,
Any
but
boot?
I've only heard one thing, and that was it one of Blind Man Cries where we were doing that?
Hmm.
That's the only one I've heard. Obviously, context is everything.
Yeah,
Tour was crucial
yeah,
to prospects in America,
yeah, yeah,
and to cancel a tour, we weren't, rolling in dough or anything like that. We needed to do that tour,
yeah.
and so getting someone else in. I mean, I don't know how Richie felt about it, but obviously he felt okay about it. He was battling his own battles at that time,
Yeah, yeah,
and it was an experiment that really didn't work.
yeah.
Richie, you can't replace Richie,
No.
and he was a very good player.
Hmm.
Played well. I mean, it was very enjoyable. We said it's not us. We were so concerned about everything. I mean, for example, we wouldn't ever use rented equipment. Had to be our own equipment. I mean, if someone said, "Oh, it's a big festival, you can use all this equipment," no, we don't. We want our own equipment. We were very. If we didn't have our own equipment, we'd cancel a gig.
Hmm. Yeah,
So we were very picky like that. And the same thing, although he was great, it didn't really work. So reluctantly, we said, right, well, forget it.
yeah, yeah. So Deep Purple works with those specific musicians, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Uh,
Yeah. Although that's changed over time.
we have, yes. I was lucky enough to see the Mark II lineup at the Nebworth Festival in '85. It was a
All right.
beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Interesting. Led Zeppelin famously never put out singles. Was there any part of you that resented? I read somewhere that you were pressured to put out Never Before, to record Never Before, to be put out as a single. Did you ever resent putting out singles in the same way?
Um, no, no, we didn't want to, certainly didn't want to copy Led Zeppelin.
No, no.
But I think it came about because in 1970, when we finished In Rock, the manager said, or the management said, which one's the single? There's no single. It doesn't sound like a single on the album. And we said initially, we don't make singles
Hmm.
because we didn't, it seemed poppy.
Yeah,
But they said, well, okay, well, let's not call it a single. Let's call it a play track. You need something. So we agreed, okay, we'll go in the studio and try something out. And we went in to Laneley, Kingsway, set up the gear. What's a single sound like? Tried this and that. And by about 5:30, we just, yeah, this is a waste of time. I went to the pub and got very drunk.
Hmm.
Got back to the studio after when the pubs closed. That's how drunk we were. We were gone. And Richie started playing. Do, 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 do. I said, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, it's Ricky Nelson's Summertime." I said, "Well, sounds good." Actually, I didn't say that. I said, "Sounds good." By that time, everyone had drifted back in, and we just jammed over that for a bit, and something like, I don't know, 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, we actually did it, vocals and all.
One take.
Yeah, one
Blimey.
vocals. Okay, I remember after we'd done the track, Ian Gillan and I sat down to write the words, and we had to sit down because we couldn't stand up anymore. And there was Arthur Alexander was an old R&B artist from years before, and we did one of his songs in episode 6. It was called Black Knight.
Hmm.
So we said, "Hey, that's a good title. Let's use that." Right, Black Knight, Black Knight. No, I don't feel so bright. Yeah, that's good. Now, you can't see dark light. Oh, yeah, man. And he started writing stupid bullshit words because
Yeah,
we, at this point, at best, this would be a B-side, and at worst, it would be thrown out,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just a lark. And it was written in minutes. Put the vocals on, and we thought, nothing of it until the next day when the manager said, "You got it. That's the single." No, no, you can't put that out. We were just fooling around. Uh,
So it was actually recorded while you were pissed.
oh yeah,
Well, interesting. You talk about that sort of spontaneous thing. Didn't Highway Star come about in a similar way, very spontaneous?
yeah, yeah. Richard Green, the journalist. Yeah, the only reason I remember that is because we've been talking about it lately. We were on our way down to Plymouth for the first date of a tour, and he was
Hmm.
working for Melody Maker or NME or one of those. And Richie had guitar playing, right, and he leaned across and said, how do you write a song?" And Richie started going, ding, 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 and it grew from there. I think we jammed around it that night, either on stage or on the stage on the sound um, before the show, sound check.
Hmm.
I can't remember that. I don't remember much about it, but it certainly wasn't finished at that point. It was finished in Montreux. All the solos didn't have solos or anything then.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, we've just lost Ozzy Osbourne, of course, but I'm just curious. Did you view Black Sabbath as sort of rivals in the day? How did you view their music?
no, we never thought of them as rivals. It seems like a waste of time to do that.
Yeah,
Um, but certainly the Black Sabbath, Purple, and Zeppelin are kind of grouped together in this unholy trinity.
yeah,
And we can't get away from that. And it's a very nice compliment to be in such good company.
yeah,
We were all very different, which is good. But there was no comparison. I loved Led Zeppelin. I didn't listen to Sabbath that much, but I liked Paranoid. I thought it was great. But I didn't get off on the doomy kind of thing. But you can't argue with their success, so that's why they are where they are, because they hit a spot that we didn't.
yeah. Yeah.
We all hit spots that everyone else didn't. So.
Well, of course, while you were recording or rehearsing, what would become In Rock, apparently Uriah Heep were in the same studio. Is that right?
Um, no, it was we used to have writing sessions in a big old, oh gosh, what was it called? Oh, it'll come to me in a minute. The outskirts of London, anyway. It's a big old house. Used to be an orphanage. Charlie Chaplin was
Mm-hmm.
there,
Yeah,
and there was a big room and a little room. The big room was very echoey, gymnasium, and I remember being in there quite a bit. I remember Charlie and Time there for sure, and Speed King. And when that wasn't available, we'd use the small room. Well, one time I wasn't even aware of this, but this band called Uriah Heep that we'd never heard of
Hmm.
were in the small room listening to us. And I do remember John Lord and I were watching TV one night, and there was a band on, and we were shocked because they were doing our set, not our songs, but with the same guitar and all the accoutrements. And they're doing a Deep Purple set. Look, you know. So, I mean, I have a grudging respect for Uriah Heep now, but back then I didn't think much of them. You know,
Right.
we used to call them Uriah Sheep. But you know, they're actually a really good band.
They are. Yeah.
We changed that because we've worked with them many times,
Yeah. Yeah.
and always
I
good
mean,
to.
there's and those are yeah, those early Uriah Heep albums with that vocal style I have was just absolutely fabulous. I thought, but I can imagine the amount of noise there must have been with the two of you rehearsing in the same space.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they weren't working. Maybe they were just listening and not playing.
Maybe, maybe. Um, I'm got to ask. I'm more curious. Did you ever meet Vincent Price on the Butterfly Ball? Vincent Price is credited as being involved. Did you ever meet him?
Yes, yes, he was there.
What was he like?
Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely, lovely man.
Not spooky at all.
No, no, he was a teddy bear. He was
Was he?
lovely. I remember it was for the Butterfly Ball live performance in the Albert Hall, and he and Twiggy, we met a couple of days before for a TV interview in the Albert Hall, and that's when I first met them. And I did wow, such normal, lovely people.
Hmm.
Um, when someone's famous, you get all sorts of imagining things about them.
Hmm.
But when you actually meet them, they're just like you know, and very normal and natural.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I never, I mean, I spoke to Vincent a few times for the show, but I never saw him after the show. Twiggy became a good friend.
yeah.
Yeah,
Was your meeting with Vincent, is that what inspired the Vincent Price song on the Now What album?
no,
Different altogether.
what inspired that was, you know, we were talking about old horror movies and
Ah,
who was in them, and just a nice coincidence.
yeah. I've just had a message from Rita saying we've got to wrap things up. So, what I'll do is I'll just promote the box set again. I'll just say that Made in Japan, this new deluxe set, is available on the 15th of August. There are purchasing links just below this video. Roger, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to me. I
Well,
wish you the
thank you, Barry. Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck with this box set. I don't think you need it. I think it will sell absolutely shitloads, to be honest with you. But you enjoy the rest of your day.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck to
Thank,
you.
thank you.